Well, hello there, all you amazing people. Remember to comment, like, subscribe. Yeah, I'm jumping on the bandwagon and going after Piratesoftware. I'm not going to talk about his weak ass. Not even call it beta. I will call it like meta move of running away when his friends are in danger instead of sacrificing himself like a good boy. Let me put it this way, every community he's part of, they don't like him. A lot of people don't like him. He has his fans, but most people don't like him. I've been going on a Piratesoftware kind of rabbit hole over the weekend, and he seems like a cool dude. He seems like a fun dude. He don't seem like a smart dude. Definitely don't seem like a good gamer. I hear more things about him that was done before this whole drama where people outing him out. That makes me feel a little bit like all of this is a persona that he's built up for the sake of fame and fortune, and his ego has just gotten so fucking big that not even his majestic hair can contain it. He needs an ego check. Clever people know how stupid they are. That's how you know they're clever people. Because they understand their limits, they understand what they can and can't do. This is why he dropped Mac support for a game that, by the way, has been in development for over 7 years and have not really done anything with the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, as far as I understand. I don't know about you. Have you seen him develop anything worthwhile other than small little snippets here and there on his stream? I haven't found anything about it. Much. If his game has stagnated for 5 years and he has not done any game development for 5 years other than a little bit hobby here and there, you're not a game developer. Unless game development, I put it like this. I don't call myself a YouTuber. I do YouTube, but I don't call myself a YouTuber. Why? Because I'm not living off YouTube. Until I can live off YouTube, I will call myself a YouTuber, or if that happens. If he don't live off being a game developer, at the moment, right now, he's a live streamer. He should just be honest with his audience and say, hey, I'm a live streamer. Anyway, long ass fucking intro here for like a whatever minute, second video. But let's hear this one out.
And I won't be doing it again. For Windows, we actually do the game, and we just compile on Windows. Easy. For Linux, we build up a VM, and we compile for Linux. It's done. You want to know what you have to do on Mac? It's terrible. You have to first get Mac hardware.
So you have to get Mac hardware. You also have to basically get Windows hardware and Linux hardware. Why? He just said. The problem, he just explained it here, because on Windows, we have Windows hardware, we develop on Windows and compile it. So you want Windows hardware. Just make it easy to test, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of reasons why the coding on the platform you're targeting just makes more sense than not. So if I was a Mac user, which I am, and I want to develop for Windows, which I do, to some degree, not all the time. Right now I'm setting up a shit ton of computers, but I also do development for Windows. I do that on a Windows computer. I don't use Mac to develop this system or the small programs that I do on Windows, because it just makes it so much easier, less time consuming to develop on the platform that you're targeting, just for testing, blah, 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 blah. That means I don't have to do VMs and I don't have to do all that kind of crazy shit. So the only difference here is that he's a gamer, he's a streamer. He already have a Windows computer. Because if you look at this like, this is how you should look at it. I'm going to start a gaming company or whatever development company with nothing. I don't have any computers. You still have to fucking buy Windows hardware. You still have to buy hardware. So that whole section is mute. It just happens to be that most people already have Windows machine, and you can then also install Linux and do Linux with it here. If he was really fucking anal about it and clever about it, he could hacking toss his way out of it, but then, what about Apple Silicon? How do you test for that if you go into some protocols behind the scenes and stuff like that? But anyway, let's continue.
Usually costs about $800 because it's a Mac Mini. Then you have to get a license key.
A Mac Mini. I have seen the game that he does on Hardbound. He don't need an $800 Mac Mini. Heck, he needs the entry-level Mac Mini for that game. Would an $800 make it better? Could he do more with it? And is it more future-proof? Yeah. But the entry level, that would be more than fine for a game that like his.
Key costs $100 per year. Then you have to compile the whole goddamn thing in Xcode. And if you've ever compiled anything in Xcode, it's dog shit, and I hate it. Then
it's dog shit, and he hated it. And I think here's the reason why. I will say the $100 a year key fee is fucking bullshit, but there's a lot of places like this. Like, if you want to develop for any console, I can't remember how much you pay, but you pay a fee to basically a license to develop for those consoles. That's how they make money, by the way, people. Like, you want to know how PlayStation, even with how expensive PlayStation and Xboxes are, even Nintendo, you know how they make their money? It's development fees they get. It's money people pay them to actually be able to develop for the platform and the games to sell on their stores. This is nothing new. I will say personally, I wish that didn't was in there. Here's another thing. If you're developing for Windows, I don't know what programming language he's using, but if you're using C#, you're probably using Visual Studio. If you're a company, I can't remember the requirements, but I think it's an X amount of developers, so you have to pay for Visual Studio, and that's not cheap either. So he's basically, I would not say cherry picking, but what I think he's doing here is that he's just showing his bias towards one platform, and he says here that he hates Xcode. Fine. I hate Visual Studio. I don't think a lot of people like Visual Studio. But he could be using Visual Studio Code, which I actually do prefer. He could use something fucking else. I don't know. Him not liking Xcode is the reason why he's not supporting macOS. If there is a demand, and I will go into this later on, if there is a demand big enough, you deal with Xcode. All I get from this is, and he gets a little bit into it at the end, but what I get from this here is a lot of, I just don't want to support Mac. It just don't make any financial sense. Just say that.
You can finally compile for Mac. And guess what? If it breaks, you have to do the whole goddamn thing over again. You don't have to pay for the key again, but you have to go reprovision the key and then put it back into Xcode and then do it again. All of this was 0.02% of our sales.
And this is why he don't do it. All of this explanation, all of this is bullshit. This makes no sense. If I came up to him, it's like, why are you not supporting Mac OS? You know what he should have said? It's not financially viable. That's the only thing he needs to understand. This is what... I've seen this a lot. I'm not saying this is how it is with him, but I've seen this a lot with people that want to portray like they are some sort of authority, a smart Apple, or stuff like that. They dive in to over-detailed explanations for simple things. Someone probably asked him in chat, why do you not support Mac? He should just have said it's 0.02% of the sale, it's not financially viable. Said the viewer would have said, oh, why is that? Then he could have said, well, I have to buy hardware, we have to revision a key that costs $100 a year. I'm not that efficient or knowledgeable about with Xcode, so it takes longer time to do. It just costs more money than doing it on Windows. That's the easiest explanation, going a little bit deep. That's all he had to say. But he basically made macOS look like a like a bad, like macOS is bad and blah, blah, blah. No. Had he made 99% of his sales on macOS, he would be sucking fucking Tim Cook's cock all fucking day. He would be running this, but again, a lot of people say he don't code anymore. He's a live streamer, so who gives a fuck? But this is kind of one of the videos where I started to notice a little bit, like, what are you even on about, dude? Like, you giving, like, like I said, the most humanly reasonable and calm and to the point explanation was, it don't make enough money that we can justify it on macOS. And most people said, fine. If they want detail, just explain, I have to buy Mac hardware, it costs $100 a year for a key, I'm super bad with Xcode, so it takes longer. And people said, fine. What he's doing here is overcomplicating a simple thing. You want to know when you're dealing with stupid people when they're overcomplicating a simple thing. See you all later. Bye-bye.